Official prediction for Nate Diaz versus Jake Paul this weekend, going down August 5th. If you've been following my channel, you know that, I have not budged in this one. I am going with Nathan Diaz to get the job done. It's not going to be easy. This is going to be a very tough boxing match. I think it's going to be back and forth. The slogan is ready for war. I think it's going to be one of those. I think that Jake Paul is probably the cleaner, more technical, traditional boxer. In there, he has the power advantage. I think that he throws good, clean, straight shots. He's got power. He's got youth on his side. He has had knockdowns later in fights as we go, so he's a threat, and that power carries into the later rounds. We saw that with Tommy Fury. We saw it with against Anderson Silva. We've seen what the dude's capable of. But I just think that the tools that Nate possesses, which is much more than just cardio and pressure, like everyone keeps saying, which I'm going to discuss a few more tools that Nate's going to provide into this fight as we go throughout this video. But I am rolling with Nathan Diaz. I think he gets the job done. I think that he can. I don't know if it's going to be a stoppage. I'm predicting a decision win for Nate Diaz, but I think the only way he would probably get a stoppage is, a left hand slips through or slips in, not accidentally, but he sets it up, either throws that throwaway hook, left hand behind it, or throws that offbeat 1-2 that he loves to throw, and he just kind of clips Jake, rings him a little bit, starts doing the taunting, and Jake kind of throws his hands up back at him, and then Nate just kind of starts going to town, touching, moving, and because when you're hurt and you're on wobbly legs, things are quite a bit different. So I think that Nate's going to be able to slip a couple shots through, get in on the inside, like, back when he was fighting McGregor, kind of like how he did with Leon. You can never count the guy out. All it takes is that one short left hand that he can throw. And I think that, if he's able to do it on those guys in 4-ounce gloves, obviously it's boxing. It's a different sport. The guy's been sparring in boxing gym since he was 15 years old. You can tell when he goes in there, he wears shoes, he puts the headgear on, he puts the groin protector on. He's going in there like a boxer. Not a lot of these MMA guys hop in there barefooted, just looking kind of foolish in there in a boxing gym. That's not Nate Diaz. When him and Nick go and they box, they don't talk about jiu-jitsu. They don't talk about wrestling. They don't talk about kicks. They're in there to strictly box. This dude knows what's up. He knows what it's about. Nate Diaz is always game, man. He's got a lot of different things on his side that I'm going to list right now. He's a warrior. He's got the toughness, the cardio, the pressure. And then he also has the straight punches that people are not giving him any credit for. I just heard Teddy Atlas on Daniel Cormier on DCRC on ESPN MMA talking about how, Jake Paul's got straight punches and Nate Diaz loops his punches. When does Nate Diaz loop his punches? Other than when he gets someone up against the fence and they're injured or they're not injured, but they're hurt. He's got them on wobbly legs or they're tired and he kind of does the pitter patter and then starts coming up top. Nate doesn't throw a lot of looping punches. Everything is very straight from Nate. His jab is straight. He kind of lowers his front hand so that way it comes up at an awkward angle. And that left hand, it's an awkward timing. And that's how he's able to catch people. And he throws straight shots. Now, he doesn't have, usually use much of a variety of punches, which has always kind of been my critique towards Nate's striking. But I think that Nate's able to get this done. It's not going to be easy. People out there that I'm very much a Diaz fan, right? I'm very much a NDA Army supporter, but I'm being, I'm keeping it honest here. Jake Paul does have more power. Jake Paul is possibly the better overall technical, aesthetically pleasing boxer. But all the attributes that Nate possesses, everyone's just saying cardio, toughness, warrior. That's not just what Nate is, right? You can see when he boxes in MMA, he loves to fight behind that high shell. He can do that much more effectively with boxing gloves on. That's more of a boxing thing to do, not exactly an MMA thing to do. With the 4-ounce gloves, hiding behind the 4-ounce gloves doesn't do a whole lot for you. So I just think that he's going to be able to pull Jake into his game. He's been playing games all throughout the buildup to this fight, leaving the face-to-face, just setting that tone like, I don't care, you don't bother me. I'm calling the shots. I'm doing what I do. And that's what Nate's doing, man. Everyone's taking it as this big joke. And I just think, personally, is Jake Paul the better aesthetically pleasing boxer like I just said? Of course he is. When he hits the mitts, when he hits the pads, it looks better. Of course. But in terms of overall just when it gets down to the nitty gritty, Nate is not a bad boxer. It's just not how you exactly would teach someone to box. It's an offbeat timing. It just suits him. He's not, Jake Paul's probably the better athlete, the better overall athlete. Like if you transition both of them to football or basketball, like Jake Paul would be better. But in terms of just fighting and being good at, just that right there, the fight game, fighting, it's hard to bet against Nate Diaz at this point. He's always in the fight. Are there times that we've seen him hurt? Of course. He's very hard to put away. Very hard to put away. He doesn't have to worry about kicks. All he has to worry about is punches. And the guy's been in the box. If you've seen the sparring footage, he knows what he's doing in a boxing ring. He knows how to make that adjustment from, okay, when I'm kickboxing or I'm MMA, MMA sparring or whatever, I'm, kind of bouncing around. I'm moving this way, that way. I can do this and that. And then when he gets in the boxing ring, he moves different in there. I saw someone commented on one of my videos saying that I don't know what I'm talking about because Nate doesn't know how to move or something about his movement in a boxing ring. The guy, if you watch him when he's sparring, he understands how to slide around in a boxing ring. He knows how to make that adjustment from MMA sparring and kickboxing and all that to straight boxing. The way he moves, the way he slides around the ring, the way he cuts angles, it's different in boxing. Like everyone always says, Max Holloway, Dustin Poirier, these guys have the best hands. I don't disagree that they have fantastic hands, but their stances and the way that they throw their shots doesn't necessarily transition into boxing. Poirier could, but with Holloway, even Poirier, that stance is very open. Nate's very closed off. His feet are very planted. He kind of, the way he moves and operates, it's very boxing-esque. I know it's not exactly the most aesthetically pleasing thing, but I really believe Nate gets this done. I think that it's probably a decision win. I can see, like I said, Jake gets fatigued. Nate lands a good shot on him, has him up against the ropes. He's just kind of walking through everything, walking him down, pitter-pattering, and then the ref waves it off. I can see that happening, but not exactly as likely as him winning by decision. I think that Jake's going to probably win the first couple rounds, if I had to guess. I think he's going to be active. I think he's going to throw the harder, cleaner shots. He'll probably be a little more active. Nate's always very much a slow starter. He kind of fights behind nothing more than a 1-2 when the fight starts, and he starts to pick up the pace as it goes. And he, just like a triathlon, the guy loves to do triathlon, same thing. He kind of paces himself and then really starts to, step on that gas. And once he does, he doesn't let his foot off. So it's going to be a test. I think this is the hardest match Jake's had to date. Tommy Fury, yes, he was a good overall. He's technically a professional boxer and this and that, but the attributes that Nate brings are very different than what Jake's been up against. I think Nate gets this done by decision. What do you all think? Drop your predictions below. You can call me crazy. I just think that, everyone's writing Nate off, and I can't quite understand why, and we'll see. So like, subscribe, help your boy out. I appreciate it. See y'all on the next one.